Hi, and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Blake Romney, alongside.
And I'm Ken Money.
And today we've got an awesome show lined up for you. It's the first time that I think we've really actually had like a kind of like a national type of player.
I know, I'm excited. I mean, it's fun, and we love having the high school kids and some of them that are really good players and their whole life. But it's going to be fun to have a little different show tonight, and we're kind of a lot going on in the sports world.
But before we get to that, let's kind of talk about the stories that have come up this past week.
And there's a lot, isn't there?
There's a ton of stuff. I mean, it's if you're a sports fan, and it kind of is just everything's kind of starting. The draft is only a couple weeks away. Obviously. Today,
spring football's going on, and we got quite a bit of like cutting edge news. First we start with Maple Mountain just hours ago takes a doubleheader from Timpview. We love that. Beating Timpview is always good.
Yes, it is.
Maple Mountain wins the first game pretty handily. Comes back and wins the nightcap a little closer, which is great. Smash Fork baseball playing in the Hard 9 Classic, which an honor to be invited to this tournament.
Right.
They're down playing in Southern California, and tonight actually Smash Fork's playing the marquee game on the Cal State Fullerton field. I don't know if you've seen that field. Beautiful, nice. Beautiful college field. They're playing one of the host schools, Esperanza, so that'll be kind of fun. And so there's a lot going on in baseball, and really today's really the opening day, right? Today
is like a glorious day to be revered if you're a baseball fan.
It is.
Opening day.
Some people take the day off of work and stay home to watch baseball.
I know. Technically, I guess the Rangers did play yesterday, so maybe yesterday was the opening day.
And how'd the Rangers do?
We're going to go ahead
and how did the Rangers do?
Over that.
Okay.
But so with baseball, there's a ton of stuff. Something actually that's really cool that's recently come out is that they're thinking about expanding the league.
Well, I mean, and this is like, talk about cutting news.
Right.
And after a very good experience at Spring Mobile in Salt Lake.
Right. This past weekend, Salt Lake is one of those markets. I think it's like in the top 2 that they're trying to expand. Salt Lake is the 35th largest market in the United States.
They played a major league game there 2 days ago, sold out in 15 minutes, and so that caught everybody's attention. Perfect day. So we may be talking Major League Baseball in our show right here in Salt Lake.
Yeah, that'd be really, really cool.
Salt Lake, the Phillies are the ones interested. Can you imagine the Utah Phillies or Salt Lake Phillies?
Right, things like that. Man, that'd be so much fun.
I mean, that would be great.
Yeah, so definitely stay tuned because we'll be bringing you as much information as we get on that.
Right, and then NFL, big time. We'll talk a little bit about Cowboys. There's Tony Romo, who may be one of the better quarterbacks. I'm not saying one of the best quarterbacks. He just signs a lights-out contract. What are the Cowboys thinking? Being a Texas guy, explain this to me.
I wish I could. I honestly wish I could. I think it's come down to 2 things. Number one, there's not a whole lot of quarterbacks out there. It's kind of...
Well, that's true. They're the premium. That's a good point.
Take what you can get.
It's a good point.
But the other thing is Jerry Jones has no idea what he's doing running a football team.
He's got money and he wants to spend it.
He has no idea what he's doing.
So this is like, correct me if I'm not mistaken, but it's like a $110 million contract for Tony Romo, who's probably one. I mean, he's in the top echelon of quarterbacks, but he's not in the top 5 or 10.
No, I would say he's a top 10 quarterback, not a top 5 quarterback. And unless you, that's a whole lot of money to pay for a guy who has 1 playoff win.
1 playoff win.
As many as Tim Tebow.
Which kind of reminds us, there's also some news, NFL news, that kind of affects all of us.
Yeah, Coach Chambers just took the job.
I cannot believe this.
At Spanish Fort.
1 year, we go to the state championship, and
the next year's playing for the Denver Broncos.
Well, I understand that he never officially declared his retirement, so he really he was a free agent apparently, and and he's kept himself in shape. I mean, we know at practice he's running with the linemen. Now I see why he's running and working out with the linemen. And the Broncos come calling, and you know what?
The option on them, so it'll be a spring train, fall camp or whatever spring training.
New football coach coming to Smash Fork, but that's exciting. It's exciting. The rumors who may be taking his place. Brandon Doman looking for a job. BYU's ex-offensive coordinator, quarterback, NFL quarterback. So. I'm not saying anything, but we know he was in town yesterday talking to administration, so it might be some more breaking news. Next week we'll may have an announcement there on new head football coach at Spanish Fork. That's exciting. Basketball, March Madness, huge going on right now.
Loving it, loving March Madness. Final 4, you've got Louisville, Michigan, Wichita State, and Syracuse.
And probably the long shot would be Wichita State.
Right, number 9, they're the lowest seed.
That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think Louisville, just because if Louisville wins, I win my bracket. There's like a $20 gift card on the line. So
that's huge. That's huge. So kind of an ugly day in basketball yesterday. Louisville, we won't even talk about that, especially when we've got food here in front of us from one of our sponsors. We don't want to talk about. You'll get sick on me. We don't want to talk about that.
Yes, we will.
So that's a big deal.
Yeah, but that's the collegiate side. The NBA side, obviously, you have the Jazz. puttering along. I mean, I guess that's
they're right on the brink of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Would be the 8th place team going in there. Sounds like maybe they're willing to make some changes finally in their personnel, possibly.
Right. So really interesting. You usually don't see about having player acquisitions, things like that, after the trade deadline. But Dwight Howard has actually agreed to play for the Jazz next year.
When I think what happened is when big Turkish guy dislocates his shoulder,
right.
He's out, and all of a sudden there's maybe a little bit of a gap in the middle, and Dwight Howard's hard to say no to.
Right, so he's gonna play his contract out obviously with the Lakers, but then he's gonna be switching over to play the Jazz. He's kind of signed an agreement, kind of like a verbal thing. Hey, I'll play for you next year, but let me finish out with the Jazz.
He wants to beat Kobe after being his teammate. He's ready to come to Salt Lake, and so big turnaround on the Jazz roster. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
so
that's gonna be a lot of fun.
So there's a lot going on for sure.
Right, but that's kind of the sports world from a national perspective. And we're going to kind of actually keep it. Usually we try to bring things local, but we're going to keep it.
We're staying national. We are big time right here, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
So we got a pretty cool guest on.
So let me tell you just how this kind of happened.
Okay.
I stopped in Salem with my family day before yesterday to get a little food. I see a van parked in the parking lot with it was like a plastered van with a picture of a professional athlete, and I read about it. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't recognize the name. It was Vernon Gasser, I believe. And Gosser. Oh, excuse me. So let's just bring him right in, should we?
Go ahead.
Anyway, so Vern, thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Yeah. I'm happy to be here.
And I saw your van. It's awesome. And a picture of you on the side. I go in. We start making small talk as we're in line. And maybe just go ahead and introduce yourself to our fans. We're really honored to have you.
Well, my name is Vernon Gosser.
You're okay. Just talk normal.
I don't need to talk normal. Okay. Sorry. My name is Vernon Gosser, and I am a professional croquet player.
Very cool. Now, a lot of people probably didn't even know croquet, there was a professional circuit.
That's true. A lot of people don't know about it.
And maybe explain, so what were you doing in Salem, Utah 2 days ago, being a professional croquet player?
Well, mostly I'm just passing through.
Oh.
The tournaments are either in the Arizona, Palm Springs area or in Florida. And so I'm on my way through, thought I'd come up to see Utah. It's a beautiful state.
Really? I mean, what is your first impressions? So you came in, how did you get into the state of Utah? Did you come through St. George, or were you coming?
I think so, yes. I-15.
I-15,
yeah.
Good.
I-15.
Yeah, well, welcome to Spanish Fork Channel 17. We're glad to have you. And we got some questions. I don't know a lot about croquet. I'm going to be the first to admit.
Right.
I don't know. You a croquet guy?
And so, so we talked to, obviously your publicist and things like that, so I got the donuts for you.
I do appreciate that. I mean, I don't want to be difficult. I'm not a diva at all, but I appreciate the little perks that come with it.
That's what the publicist said. He's a donut eater, and so
I do enjoy
world-class athlete.
I love donuts.
And we're glad to have you. So, we got a few questions that Blake and I tried to come up with, and don't be insulted if we get some of the lingo wrong, but maybe we can talk a little bit about croquet. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Vernon, can I call you Vern or Vernon?
Sure, Vern, yeah.
Vern, okay. What got you started croquet? I mean, I'm just interested.
Well, I was staying in a KOA campground, that is, outside of Boise, Idaho, and I met some people there. They were playing croquet, and I found that was a talent that I didn't know I had. So I've developed it. I've gotten into the circuit, and now I'm part of the U.S. Croquet Association.
Really?
USCA, yeah.
And pretty successful, or just kind of a newbie in that, or how's it going?
I don't mean to brag,
no,
but
go
I've
ahead,
won some money. I've won some money, and that's how I support myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So is there like a money list? Are you on?
There is a money list.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe you feel comfortable sharing what your earnings are? Or?
Well, I'll just say, so far this year I've made $3,750.
Wow.
And that's
good.
That's a fair amount, I'd say.
It is.
That's a decent amount.
Yeah.
It's talking a little bit about you're just coming from a tournament. Is that right?
That's right. There was one in Palm Springs that I just finished up, and just headed out now over to the other end of the country.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
And let's talk about his win. That was a big win, am I right? I know there's all different echelons of wins.
No, that one I didn't place in. There's some competition there.
But I know in the recent past you've been successful.
Well,
it said on the side of your band is the reason I knew.
About 6 weeks ago, I did win the Tri-County Invitational Tournament, and that's exciting for me. It's in Grand Island, Nebraska, and that's a lovely place if anybody's ever been there. Have you ever been?
Grand Island,
beautiful,
I can't say.
Grand Island. Anyway, yeah, I did win that tournament, and And that's was, I don't mind saying it was a great moment for me.
And the name of the tournament, what would that be? In case
the Tri-County Invitational.
Very nice. Now, with croquet, is there like sponsors, things like that you guys do? I see you're wearing a Nike hat.
Is Nike one of your sponsors?
No, I just bought this. Yeah.
Oh. But I'm sure there are sponsors, especially when you get to the professional circuit. Am I right? Or?
Yeah, there are. In fact, I have one.
Oh, he's brought some of his equipment.
Guess so.
So this is one of my sponsors.
Wow, that's a nice bag.
Made in croquet, and they're kind of a big deal in the croquet world.
Okay.
And they provided this bag and the mallets that are in here for me, and that's
that was nice.
$199 value, really.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. So maybe talk about some of your equipment. Because Blake and I were the first to admit, I mean, we played croquet, and I beat him, but we're not very good.
Right.
Am I right about that?
Yeah, I mean,
just at the summer party and stuff. But let's talk about some of the equipment that's involved in croquet. I mean, maybe some of our people, home viewers, are not familiar with the lingo.
Well, most people know what croquet is all about. It's a field. In the world of professional croquet, it's a very specific field dimensions. It's more like a putting green, really. And then the wickets
always
are
played on grass? Excuse me.
Yes, played on grass.
Always grass.
And the wickets are the little gates that you have to hit the ball through.
There's
six of them.
They're wire domes kind of thing?
They're made of steel in the professional realm.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
Excuse me.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
So there are 6 wickets on the field, and you have to hit through in a clockwise fashion and then back around in counterclockwise fashion in order to win.
Wow.
So
interesting.
So is there like a par? I mean, how many knocks, hits does it take to get?
How many balls do you play with?
You play with 2.
Okay.
And the winning score is 26. So
you just arbitrarily 26, right?
I didn't make that up. That's the winning score.
Okay.
It takes 90 minutes to play the game.
Time limit.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Like, sorry.
With you always play on grass, but is there grassy turf? I mean, that's a big thing that's starting to come into.
In the league I play, it's like a putting green.
Okay.
But there are other variations on croquet. There's extreme croquet that's played in more rough terrain. There's
dirt and rocks and that sort of thing?
Mondo croquet. That's it. Mondo. That's played in the mountains.
Oh, got it. Never heard that term. Okay.
What about, so there's certain things, so you've got the grass and things like that. What about what you actually use, your instruments? What's a club?
The mallet.
Oh,
the mallet.
Mallet?
Yes.
Do you have, like a batter, in Major League Baseball, they have their very own?
This is my mallet.
Oh.
This is the one that I use.
Oh, got a head cover on it, I see, too.
Yeah, I'd like to protect it. But
got a name?
I call this one Bertha.
Okay.
And I have several others, and it kind of depends on wind conditions and humidity.
It's like a custom grip. That's something that you prefer.
Yeah, this is good. This is when you're playing croquet, you don't hold it like a baseball bat. Or
you don't?
No, or like a golf club. You hold it more like this. I don't know if the viewers can see how I'm holding that, but that's the way. That's the
money stroke right there.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so that's obviously what you got your tools.
Tools of the trade.
Tools of the trade. I've heard a lot about, in other sports, performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, obviously, like Lance Armstrong, the bombshell
he's big on the news, and I mean, in their testing, I'm sure being a professional athlete, you're tested regularly.
No, not really.
Really?
No, there's no testing in croquet. In fact, it's a gentleman's sport, and so I would say we kind of go on the honor system. That being said, I'm going to just go ahead and admit that I use performance-enhancing drugs.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it. You're just going to come right out and say it. But I guess if there's no rules against it, then why not, right?
Right.
And maybe our people would be interested to know. And how's that? Your game improved with the use of different PEDs?
Yeah, I would say it has.
In what aspect?
I've gotten to the level that I've gotten to.
Really?
Yeah. So, it helps me stay focused. It helps me get more power in the ball. It, that kind of thing.
Huh. Interesting.
Is it a strength or a finesse game?
It's a finesse game.
Okay.
I think if
which probably fits your body habit. It's a little better to be not a strength game. I'm just saying.
Maybe. Yeah. We could argue about that, I guess.
Yeah, but we won't.
But I kind of